Good morning. Welcome to the Community Calendar. I'm Jazze, and today my guest is the SBA Administrator, Isabel Guzman. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
What brings you to Dallas today?
Well, the SBA is all about helping small businesses start, grow, and be resilient. And over, the COVID pandemic, we've been able to support so many businesses in the area and, with critical relief from the SBA within our paycheck protection program, our COVID economic injury disaster loans, our restaurant program, and shuttered venue grant program. I just left the Eisman Center, who was one of our beneficiaries, and we've put out $34 billion during this time period to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so now I'm meeting with small businesses and those who have achieved our funds and others to see how they're doing and what they need to continue to succeed.
That's great. It is Black History Month. And how is the Small Business Administration helping Black and minority businesses?
Well, I heard and seen the president is committed to equity across the whole of government. On day one, signed an executive order addressing equity. And for small businesses in the SBA, that means making sure that we have inclusive, entrepreneurial small business ecosystems to support all of our small businesses. As the president likes to say, great ideas come from everywhere and anywhere. And we need all of our businesses to be successful if we want to be globally competitive. And so when we reinvest in America, it's also in those entrepreneurs. And so across the board, we tried to look at how we can better support, especially those businesses, women and people of color, and those businesses owned by African Americans and Latino businesses in particular, and Asian Americans who did have, for example, disproportionate impact during the pandemic and were unable to access relief. So this past year, in the president's first year, we really focused on making sure that those who were not previously served could access our programs and get PPP and get COVID EIDL. We've been focused on building up stronger bridges to communities. For example, the president's American Rescue Plan included funding for something we call Community Navigators pilot program, and that funds local trusted organizations. And so in Dallas, that's the Black Chamber of Commerce here, as well as the Dallas Entrepreneur Center. We want to make sure that at the national level and the local level that we're funding organizations who can authentically help and support the entrepreneurs we know are starting businesses at really high rates and need the SBA's support.
In regards to local minority and Black-owned businesses here in Dallas, what advice do you have for them in regards to getting help from the Small Business Administration?
Yeah, I think all of our businesses need a team, and SBA it wants to be part of that team, whether it's through our local district office. We have a great district office here in town, which you can access through SBA.gov, or through our many resource partners, our centers, our small business development centers, or those community navigators or women's business centers. We want to make sure that you're connecting, you're finding the advisors that fit and work with you, and that you can access them, our lending network, to be able to access capital to grow your business. And so I think that building that team is really important. So we hope that you reach out to us at SBA.gov and make those connections.
I will say this, just me being as a female, and you being appointed to the position that you're in, that it's very inspiring for me to see, and for so many young women out here, just to see a woman of color be appointed to such a big position. How does that make you feel to know that so many people are just looking up to you just because you're breaking barriers?
I think it is a huge responsibility and personal sense of pride as well, because I know that Black women and Latino women are starting businesses at the highest rate. And so to be able to ensure that from my own experiences, I can make sure the SBA reflects those values and recognizes that we need to invest in those entrepreneurs in particular to make sure that they can be successful and overcome long-standing historic barriers. So it's a personal commitment as well as the commitment of the Biden-Harris administration overall.
I love it. And one of the big issues were the PPP loans. I hear that there were a lot of large businesses that got PPP loans. How did that happen?
Actually, the program has been really impactful for so many businesses, and the Biden-Harris administration recognized that many of those it was intended to serve the smallest of the small, and those from other underserved communities, women, people of color, and veterans were unable to access it. So we made sure that we could change some of the rules and open up PPP to as many as possible. With the results of those efforts, overall, over 90% of businesses funded by PPP were small entities, 20 employees and under, or did small dollar loans, 150,000 and under. And so we were able to, in the end, shift that and be able to support more small businesses with this relief, which has really been game changing. And once the PPP funding rate expired, we were able to then shift to the COVID economic injury disaster loan, which is patient, long-term, affordable capital that we could dispense. And we did the same thing. We focused on the smallest of the small to make sure that we could support as many of those small businesses that needed capital to go.
Now, before I let you go, what is it like working with Vice President Kamala Harris and President Joe Biden?
Oh, they are such remarkable individuals. I mean, Vice President Kamala Harris is so committed to small business and entrepreneurship in particular, and has spoken to me about it several times. And to hear her passion and the president's passion, one of the first things he talked to me about was the fact that it troubled him that not all businesses had that CPA or lawyer connection to get relief, and he wanted to fix that with the Community Navigator program to make sure underserved communities could get access to resources. So it's inspiring to be part of the Biden-Harris administration and on the most diverse cabinet in history.
That's great. Now, if anyone wants to get more information just about the Small Business Administration and there's businesses looking for more info, where can they go and get that information?
SBA.gov has a Get Local Assistance tool so that you can connect to the local district offices. And I would start with our Dallas-Fort Worth district office. They're incredible and have been able to really deploy all of our relief programs and capital. They have government contracting experts, they have lending experts, and they have just general small business experts that are there to help and support you and connect you to the resources that we have. And then in addition, our newly launched Dallas Entrepreneurship Center and the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce are community navigators that you can reach out to for assistance in connecting to the federal government.
Well, thank you so much for this interview and for your time today. I hope you enjoyed Dallas and they show you all the wonderful scenery, and we hope to have you back soon and keep doing wonderful things for women of color.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.